happiness, sorrow, jubilation, depression, outgoing, reserved. How do so many varying, contrasting emotions reside in one person? Granted powers that he never asked for, his one resolve was to use them for good, the definition of that determined by his doting grandparents. The problem with teenage angst is that we often are tempted to do things that are wrong and more susceptible to crossing that line because our brains have not fully developed. Sometimes when he was mocked by a classmate over his appearance or some other characteristic, that temptation boiled and almost like a voice told him to strike out, to use his advantages to his benefit. He would always resist the urge, albeit reluctantly. Throughout his life, people would call him weird. He would take it as an insult and retreat into himself when this was directly stated to him, preferring to say nothing. The remark became easier to bear over time. Why the hell should I seek their approval of what normal is? There were maybe 4 people who truly understood him. The grandfather who taught him how to be a man, the grandmother who imparted in him an uncompromising moral center, the childhood best friend, the only constant non-family, always healthy relationship he ever had, and the little brother, who he sought to but could never quite successfully mentor. When they were with him, and this could be said of his other set of grandparents, he felt something he normally did not. Acceptance, love, a confirmed legitimate desire to just spend time with him simply for the sake of doing so. Suddenly all those negative outside forces, the classmates who barely talked to him, the father who disappeared for weeks or months on end, didn't seem to matter at all. As a child, he wanted to be an artist. He drew all the time. Sure, there was room for improvement, but that could be said of anyone who had a dream. After getting his powers, he mainly wanted to save others. Whatever his goal was, when he seriously applied himself, he could morph into this being resolved to that purpose, one who seemed to thrive on the challenge. He would have an intention resting in the back of his mind, laying dormant for sometimes days, weeks, months, or even years. But once brought back to focus, it would be given all of his attention and dedication. And he would not stop until he had it. I would be lying if I called him perfect. He could be insecure, forgetful, distant, shy, overanalytical, take on too many things at once, and repetitive. It seemed for every time he put thought into his actions, he would do something else without any considerations of the long-term ramifications. The thing he desired most of all, to have a family, he had obtained before he even knew it. But with the deaths of his grandparents, the lessening relationship with his brother, and the seldom in-person encounters with his few friends, that craving for human connection and companionship became harder to sustain. In every instance where it seemed there would be a resurgence, whether it was a coworker who seemed to want to talk to him outside of work before becoming less involved, or a relative reaching out of supposed concern just to show their real incentive was wanting something from him, it was just another cruel joke. Yes, he would fail, leading to his desperation where he more than once cried. But his one solace was that at least he knew he tried.